All right, my last note. It goes like this. Quality tea requires 5 minutes. Low quality requires 3 dips. And I think I wrote this within the realm of, well, definitely wrote this within the realm of when I met the woman that is working on tea and kind of like has like for the past 5 years like been actually digging deeper and deeper and deeper into the world of just into the business that she was doing, right? Like she started basically frolicking herbs for her own sake, and then she started kind of like explaining to people about them based on what she read, and then she grew into a business. And now she has a tea shop and a couple of other places that she wants to build and all these kinds of things. So it really is at that time when I actually thought of this idea. I remember I was walking in the morning and coming, but I wrote it down and I completely forgot why it was relevant. But if I were to assume, because I wrote tea, quality is 5 minutes, low quality is 3 dips. And the reason for that is because like any tea you order in her place, which makes me want to go there right now. I think I should. But so any tea you want to actually you order from her place, she gives you like a small like sand. I forgot what they call them. But you know the like the orb of sand that you twist that you turn around and like after a specific time, all the sand goes up to the other side. It's an hourglass, I think, whatever it is. So you have to wait 5 minutes. It makes sense because like you want the water to kind of like properly take the minerals and the nutrients of the actual like herbs. Whilst low quality tea, the ones that we have that we drink normally, like the ones in the bag, what happens is you literally like just take it and you dip it. And if you keep it for long, then it becomes bitter. And then when it comes bitter, then the whole tea kind of like sucks. So you dip it like 3, 4 times until the color takes over, and then that's it. And the bigger difference is for you to have a faster experience, for the tea to kind of make more sense to you, and it's a sales marketing campaign because like for like what they do is they exfoliate the actual leaves. There's a machine that basically breaks the cell's walls so that the oil inside the tea kind of like starts becoming on the outer side. I think they do that through steaming. And when they exfoliate the tea, then the oil basically in the actual tea leaf becomes easier to extract. That's why you put it there. But the problem with that is the whole leaf becomes very like it starts giving out its flavor as well. So tea that lasts more than that requires more than 5 minutes for you to extract its flavor is going to give you the flavor of the actual oils of the tea, like everything in the tea. Whilst if the cell walls are broken, there's the small, small, small cells that are micro things that are basically that create the actual leaves, the carbon based calcium stuff. Oof, I really want to go back and like read about like how. Anyways, I know that you have to break the cells of the actual leaves in order for the oil inside the cells to come out faster. But when you do that, then the leaves are very like delicate and fragile. So hot water kind of gives them ruins them faster, and you get a bitter taste afterwards. So I don't know if it was patience when it comes to this kind of stuff. Like if for you to kind of want something, you need patience. And like, what would you do for 5 minutes as you're waiting for the tea? And I think I was actually trying to like compare that to how she, because I've been doing this for the past 2 years, like intentionally. 2 years before that, I was all over the place trying to understand what I want to do. And literally about like a year and a half ago is when I was like, woof, this is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to be doing it. And this is how I'm going to dedicate every day in order for me to like get it done. And so right now I'm in the stage where I kind of like, I'm reflecting. And when I met that woman and she's been doing this for 5 years, it gave me a lot more to kind of observe and see. And even though we only talked for like a couple of hours, I was able to just kind of like feel my own journey a bit deeper. And that's something you don't really like explore when it comes to people, especially when you're like targeting, when you have a goal that you're like every day working towards. You don't really explore those with people because you don't really get to meet people that you might understand or understand you. It's a bit scary. It's a bit kind of like, because they know what they had to do in order to get there. And then the first thing that kind of happens is they look at you and they go like, "Are you for real or not?" And if you are for real, how dangerous are you as an individual? Because like, no, a person with conviction is a heavy person to deal with. So why the fuck would anyone want to be around? There's like a lot. That's why like I don't know. I think the expression "it's lonely at the top" because you never know who to trust. You never know how to handle things. You never know what people might do. Maybe all that kind of stuff combined together. I have no idea. But basically, it was more of a reflection of her 5 year journey and where she is and how she sees things and how she's experiencing things and how I am and where I am on that journey. And I actually like, I remember I did a couple of voice notes to kind of like split the stages and try to understand the difference between my stage and hers. And definitely did a couple of videos about that as well. And so I think that the flavor of the tea itself, the savoriness of the tea itself, could only be enjoyed if you wait these 5 minutes. And the same reasoning is actually applied because that patience and the effort that you do while you're waiting for the tea is the same that you're applying while you're kind of like every single day you're patiently working towards your goal. I really think that is the gist of what I was trying to explore within myself that day. I think that was what I wanted to, what I noticed as I was talking, as I was like processing her existence. And with everything, by the way, I like everything that comes, you have to take it, you have to kind of like process it as much as you can because it lingers in your head regardless. People linger in your head, thoughts linger in your head, sad times linger in your head. All these things linger in your head until you process them and let them go. And once you let them go, you find yourself able to kind of like take easier steps and move differently. And I think she was kind of like the ending of like, now that I've been researching for 3 to 4 months and trying to do different things for 3 to 4 months, her coming into like the scene kind of allowed me to have this beacon that allowed me to kind of like not compare but look at what she is and how she is and basically reflect on the things that I am and I want to be and reflect on the journey that I have and she had one as well and kind of like back and forth finalize what I am going through in order for me to take the steps forward and re-jump into the whole developing the website and finalizing it so that by January it's ready and set and all that good stuff. So I don't know, man. Really, if you want quality tea, you don't need you don't need herbs that have been and plants and leaves that have been played with. All you need is like the good combination. And that's where I think I was talking about skills over the past week or so. You need a good combination of like herbs and like leaves and like she even has tea with like the skin of pomegranate. And what you have after that as well is you need the patience to let them mix together and grow together and build together. And even though every once in a while waiting, that's 5 minutes, you literally take the tea pot and you shake it with it. It doesn't really make that much of a difference. It's basically anytime you're steadily going towards your goal, every once in a while you take a break or you go and do something different just so that you can actually like remember why you started on this path. And it's funny because the world kind of always pushes you back or points at why you started to begin with. It is super cute. I love how this got translated from like, I really wonder how how I started my thought process for me to end with such a note. Look, that's it at the top. All right. And I really wonder how, and I really like the way it came out right now. So that's the beauty of me trying to process things. And I do that with voice notes as well. when something kind of comes up, what I do effectively is I either take a note or I start writing about it. Like today, I talked about like uh, I forgot what I started talking about today, but it had something to do with like attention, something to do with like basically connecting with people. And it starts off with like a simple note because something in your head comes up. And then my theory is like after a while, something else comes up and it kind of like brings the same feeling in your head. And what I do is basically because I wrote down that a note pertaining that, the whole thing kind of comes to me again. And I go like, oh, I wrote a note about it. So I kind of like elaborate a bit more into it. And by the second time, I already can see if it's something of value or not. Because like maybe I could finish processing it by the second time, and it could be like, oh, okay, think about this, 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 this. It connects to these things that you think about, and then it's done. It's an idea that just passed by, but it was significant enough for you to remember it. But sometimes like you kind of like don't finish it on the second time, but you don't force yourself. So what happens is a couple of incidents later, and I mean like random triggers the world throws at you. You could just be walking and watching a bird land somewhere and go like, oh, I remember this thought. Now, when that happens, you kind of have to give it your attention. Like third time's the fucking charm. So I take normally my phone and I actually go for a voice note. And over the past couple of months, when I started doing these YouTube videos, I started like my voice notes became a lot more processing the logic behind my actual thoughts, not the thoughts themselves. And the YouTube videos became the actual thoughts. So I'm excited to see the change over the course of the next couple of months to like the next 6 months to a year of how this has actually slowly affected my reason and my change. And I'm excited because I always try to end on a note where I learned something from it. So from this one, it's literally about how when it comes to tea, the simplest of things, you literally can, if you want quality tea, you have to wait for 5 minutes. You have to pick the right ingredients. And after 5 minutes, you cannot just enjoy. And so I'm excited for this year to end with my platform and next year to actually like be the year where I take it to the world, I experience it, I deal with it. And I'm at a level when it comes to coding and programming where I'm able to kind of like move forward. Fuck yeah, man. I can't wait. Watch me. Thank you guys.